talking that shit too.
Oh, of course.
Every
Oh,
time.
shit. All right, guys. Welcome back to No Filter MMA. This is your boy BJ, and I'm back with a special. I don't know what happened. Fucking internet. Anyways, guys, we're back. I don't know if you heard anything I said. My internet, I don't know. I'm gonna have to get it tuned up. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it jumps on and off and shit. But fuck it. Like I said, I'm joined by my boy Davidson Baker from The Bottom Line with Davidson Baker. You guys have to go check him out. He is the real deal, Holyfield.
No Evander involved. Appreciate that intro, brother.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your podcast, bro.
So I started the podcast March last year. I'm a sports journalism and broadcast major, so I kind of like to call myself a jack of all trades. Even though that I have 61 podcasts, only 28 of them have been like MMA centrified. So like if you like the NBA, the NFL, like I'm gonna be doing a lot of coverage on the NBA draft, the NFL, like really any MMA, boxing. I cover it on my podcast, so I've been doing that for a while. I try to hit the MMA episodes every week. Gonna take next week off though, because there's no MMA next weekend, dog. I mean, what are we gonna do?
I don't know, man. They hit us with, I mean, Bellator and UFC hit us with two double whammies last weekend, man. So it was like, you know, now they're gonna take everything from us, man. That shit sucks.
And you mentioned to me before we started recording how you're going to the Greenville card. That's the next time that the UFC and Bellator double dip. That's that Mousasi Lovato Jr. That's Mousasi Lovato Jr. is the same day.
Yeah. Yep. They sure are. Who's forgot who's headlining that. It was the Greenville card was it was headlined by Alan Crowder, but I guess they changed that because he announced on it. He put it on his YouTube, on his Facebook, that he was the main event, but then that changed. So it looks like it's Renato Moicano versus Chang Sung Jung. So that's a damn good fight to see live.
It's a hell of a main event. That's a hell of a main event.
Fuck yeah, man.
It's one of those situations in which if you're going to book two guys both coming off a loss in a main event, it's one of those situations that are rare at which I'm fine with it. Like, I'm cool. You're going to put any two guys that are coming off a loss in a main event and you tell me that those are the two guys, I'll be like, all right, my hands
Exactly, bro.
That's a great fight.
Yeah, man. A lot of people say the experience, like, when you're there and you hear the music and you hear the crowd and you see the fighter, you know what I'm saying? You look up and see the cage. They said it's a whole different experience, man. It's a whole nother
ball game.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
You should apply to cover Bellator anytime they're close to you. If they don't have
that. I thought about
doing that. Man, I mean, I witnessed Bellator 210 last November. I covered it, and I mean, I was front and center right there. Like right there. It was an unforgettable experience.
Yeah. Word. I bet that was, dude. Tell us about that. Tell us briefly about that before we jump into this MMA talk.
It was so awesome, man. I stayed in the casino resort at the Windstar in Thackerville, Oklahoma. This was the card headlined by John Salter and Chidi Jokwani last November. It was the same night as the Ultimate Fighter finale, so not a lot of media were there. So I got front row and center. There was like me and like 6 other guys.
Yeah,
I got to interview David Rickles, Goichi Yamauchi, I should say, and got to talk a little bit of smack to John Salter because both our teams were in the college football playoff at the time. But we don't want to talk about how that went.
Yeah, man. I mean, Bellator doesn't really come this way. I think the closest Bellator comes to me is Charlotte, North Carolina, which is not far. It's
Right.
probably an hour and a half away from where I'm at, so that would be nothing to go, pick up and go to Charlotte. But I have to look into that next time, man. I have to definitely look into that. So we got, dude, this weekend we got Kevin Lee versus RDA coming. This card is stacked, man. I mean, a lot of people were sleeping on this card until it seems like to me like the closer we got to the card, the more the card started to expand a little bit. What you think?
I think the card has. I think people are kind of starting to see,
The potential.
the potential and how interesting some of these matchups are.
Yeah.
On the flip side, though, too, this fight card from top to bottom, especially these fight nights, for example, like the one they had in Kansas earlier this year. I mean, are you a betting lines guy? Do you look at betting odds like before fights? Because
I do. I'm recently gotten into it because a couple of the guys that I collaborated with before, they look at it. They look at the betting odds. They do all that kind of stuff. So they've kind of been sharing it with me, and I've been starting to look into it because I'm just like, I don't really care what the odds makers say who's going to win the fight. I just like the actual fight. But now I'm starting to talk about that. But go ahead, man. Go ahead. What you're saying.
That card in Wichita, there was nobody. The biggest favorite on the card was JDS, and he was only like minus 205, which is just over 2-1 favorite. And for those that would be listening that aren't aware what minus 205 means, that means you'd have to wager $205 just to get 100 back in profit. Right. So that card was very evenly matched from top to bottom, which brings me to my point that this fight night card, there are a few fights on this card which these guys are huge favorites. I know Julio Arce is like an 8-1 against Julian Erosa. That's a winner go home fight for Erosa, I would imagine.
I think so too. I would say so too.
Desmond Green coming off his first finish in his UFC career. He's a 9-1 favorite against a really talented prospect in Charles Jourdain. And then obviously Vicente Luque taking on Derek Krantz on short notice. He's a 12.
Yeah. What happened, man? What did he fail for?
So Vicente Luque, you got to feel bad for him because it's been like the stars have aligned so many times for him to finally get a crack at a top 15 guy. But I read Magny's statement earlier this week. It was basically just him saying that he pissed hot for something. But here's my thing that I found interesting. You look at the comments, right? Mm-hmm. And usually when a guy tests positive, it's slander, hatred. Because it's Neil Magny, every single comment was like, dog, I mean, this can't be a thing, right? Like, this guy didn't purposely do this. I was taken away. I was taken away by that. And Magny is honestly known for being one of the most tested fighters on the roster and hasn't pissed hot once in his career. So yeah, it was a little bit odd. I'm very interested to see how that shakes out and what he tested positive for.
But Davidson, let me ask you this. Now that you brought up that point, it seems like when some people piss hot, it's an outrage, dude. Like, it is a fucking outrage. But when other people piss hot, it's like, I mean, isn't that kind of like hypocritical in a way? You know what I'm saying? You got some, let's say for instance, when John Jones pissed hot this last time, dude, it made the news for weeks, months. And then Neil Magny pops and everybody's like, oh man, ain't no way, it's fake news. Like, explain that.
Yeah, it's a double standard that I think is inevitable in this. It's definitely inevitable in the sport when you have guys like John Jones who kind of had, when John came back, he started to kind of relish being the heel because he never was going to be the nice guy, praise Jesus, John 3:16, the whole Sage Northcutt yard. He was never going to be that guy.
Yeah.
So when he approached like the heel situation, I mean, and these steroid allegations, those are always going to be a thing. I mean, Josh Barnett, Frank Mir, these guys are all really, Tom Lawler, these guys are all great examples of guys that were absolutely ridiculed, slandered, had their names, drugged through the mud. And, Neil Magny gets a pass. I do think it's a little bit hypocritical. However, I would be lying if I said that if I had to like bet on it, that there was some sort of like, I mean, it's Neil Magny. like, you know what I'm saying? I get your point. It definitely is hypocritical. However, It's really hard to believe a guy like Neil Magny would cheat intentionally. It just is.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I see it as, some people who piss hot, it is genuinely a mistake. Like, it is genuinely a tainted substance. You know what I'm saying? But some people it's not, you know what I'm saying? But it's hard to figure out. It's hard to know, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to know who you can kind of say, like TJ Dillashaw, it was blatant because of what it was, you know what I'm saying? So
of course.
Nobody gave TJ Dillashaw. Nobody gave TJ Dillashaw a pass. But let's say, for instance, like Sean O'Malley. When Sean O'Malley pissed hot, nobody was mad. Like, it was crazy. It was wild.
Well, he was vindicated. And that's actually the point I was about to make, is that these USADA blunders are really starting to come in abundance. I know that they just like slapped on the wrist, like they slapped O'Malley on the wrist, Nico Montano.
Yep.
It was all for the same drug that was all found out to be tainted. But I mean, talk about a guy that never got the benefit of the doubt. What about Yoel Romero? He was technically vindicated, and people still drag his name through it.
Yeah, because I think it's more because of like his physique, though. People see his
that guy was made in the lab.
Yeah, and they say steroids. Steroids. That's all they see. Like Paulo Costa. Everyone thought Paulo Costa. Dude, Paulo Costa's not juicing, bro. People think he's juicing. I don't think he's juicing. He was doing the IV shit, but that's not juicing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they banned him for the IV. Yep. He had his little shit with IV, but then he booked the fight right after that with Yoel. So the fight is actually booked now. So it couldn't have been. That was a slap on the wrist, if you want to call it. Same situation.
Yeah, that fight's gotta happen, man.
That fight has to happen, bro.
Has to happen.
What are your thoughts on that fight?
Man, it's very interesting. I think that people kind of always tend to instill this like weird myth on Yoel Romero that his cardio is his downfall, and that couldn't be more incorrect. If you look at his track record, I mean, and you look at his finishes, it's round 3, round 3, round 3, round 2, round 3. I mean, Weidman round 3, Kennedy round 3, Machida round 3, Brunson round 3. I mean, these guys
almost Whitaker round 3.
Oh man, I mean, that was his best round. That was that and the 5th were the best round of the fight. How did you score that fight? The second one.
I had
it a draw.
I had it a draw too. Especially
I thought the third was a 10-8.
When Romero almost finished him in the 5th round, bro, that's when I was like, okay, this fight is a draw. Like he almost It was like Robert Whitaker was more like he's more of like a volume striker, but he's got power. Robert Whitaker has power. He's knocked motherfuckers out. But what I'm saying, is Robert was more like a volume striker. You know what I'm saying? Yoel was the one landing the power, and he almost finished Robert Whitaker multiple times in both fights. Crazy.
Yeah, Whitaker had a severed ACL like seconds into the fight. I mean, the fact that's why Whitaker deserves some credit, man. That guy survived 50 minutes in a cage with that physical lab transformational specimen.
With multiple injuries in both fights.
And he won both of them.
Yeah.
That guy deserves to be the favorite against Adesanya, in my opinion. Now, am I picking him to beat Adesanya? That's a whole different conversation, but I think he deserves to open as the betting favorite, which he has.
I think so, too. Yeah, I think that's well-deserved. Robert Whitaker is a tough dude, man. He's a tough dude, and he's determined to keep that belt, dude. He's determined no matter what to keep that belt.
Only thing other than Israel that would take that belt from him directly, like in the forefront now, is another injury. If he gets hurt again, man, that conversation kind of needs to begin.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't for stripping him in February. I saw people bring up like, oh, strip him after like the 234 thing. No. But yeah, if he gets hurt like towards the Adesanya fight and we go down that road again, that's not going to be good.
But champions have been stripped for less. I mean,
you're right.
Champions have been stripped for less, and Robert Whitaker has pulled out of multiple events. He has pulled out of multiple events, dude. And it's like, but it's like, it's like Robert Whitaker has like the body of like a 50-year-old man. It kind of makes you wonder, you know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of makes you wonder what kind of training is Robert Whitaker doing? Like, is he overtraining? Is he under training? Like, what's the deal?
His training regimen is very unique. He does a lot of jujitsu, believe it or not, for how heavy his hands are and how persistent he is to keep the fight standing. He's a damn good grappler. He placed in a big grappling tournament. I think 8th out of like 100 dudes the other day. I can't remember what it was. But that guy's no joke on the ground either.
Yeah, Robert Whitaker can grapple.
What do you think about this main card this weekend? I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, the first fight I actually wanted to talk about on this card was Aspen Ladd versus Sijara Eubanks. I wanted to talk about that fight. Just touch on that fight. One of my prelim honorable mentions. I just got word that Taylor and Brad said they will be in just a few minutes. We're about to get lit up in here. But
let's go.
So yeah, I mean, Sijara Eubanks and Nico Montano are moving to 135 now.
Right.
Nico Montano just booked the fight with Sarah McMahon. So
that's an interesting fight.
That's a tough fight for Nico. That's a tough fight for Nico.
It's not an easy fight for Nico at all.
Sarah McMahon can crack, dude, and her wrestling is pretty good. But anyway,
it's top notch for that division.
Yeah, it is. So Sijara Eubanks, man, I just think, I think Aspen Ladd, it's kind of odd when you see a woman perform one thing so well, like Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey was a fucking phenomenon because her judo was so well. Holly Holm was a phenomenon because her striking is top notch. You know what I'm saying? Cyborg and Amanda Nunes are known as knockout. They're knocking motherfuckers out. You know what I'm saying? But I've never seen ground and pound quite like Aspen Ladd's. I have not. I mean, maybe besides like Kat Zingano, maybe. But besides Kat Zingano, Aspen Ladd has some of the best ground and pound I think I've ever seen in the bantamweight division.
Really in all of women's MMA, man. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, dude, because she took Tanya Evinger. Tanya Evinger is a pioneer in women's MMA. Like, Tanya Evinger's she fought Gina Carano, dude. She's one of the last girls fighting that fought Gina Carano. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And excellent grappler. And she took Tanya Evinger down and finished her like it was nothing, dude. Oh, right. No, there he goes.
I made it.
What's up, Taylor?
What's up,
boy? Hey, man. We kicking it, talking some shit. Taylor,
dude,
Davidson, meet Taylor.
Davidson, nice to meet you, man. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you, buddy.
Dude, I think you brought up a good point though that I was gonna try to piggyback off of. When you talk about, when you talk about the infancy of women's MMA and how everything began and like who dominated in which way, it was really, and Tatiana Suarez is an unbelievably perfect example.
Talking about the next champ?
Oh yeah, I definitely believe she's the next champ.
Dude, yeah, I love Jessica Andrade, but you're not gonna stop Tatiana's wrestling. There's no way.
There's no way, dude.
That brings me exactly to the
You're
point.
You're not getting her in the air to slam her down like that. You're just not.
No, she's so much bigger than her, man.
Dude, and she doesn't even cut that much weight, she was telling us. It's fucking crazy. That girl is just a phenom.
Oh, yeah. No, totally. And what I was saying about her is like her wrestling, like you said, is just so – there's levels to this, and she is so many notches in terms of levels above everybody else in the grappling department. Just like how Ronda was in the judo department, when you have in women's MMA,
Tatiana said in her hands every day.
Oh, dude, if she starts to develop like fluid striking, I mean,
oh my god,
who's gonna beat her?
She was like, I don't use my striking because I don't have to, but trust me, if I have to, it's there. And I was like, oh, that's true. Why use it? She's like, why use it if you don't have to? I was like, you're fucking right.
She's so right, and that is terrifying. That's scary. That is so scary. I think that fight with Ansarov is interesting just because Ansarov has been counted out in like her last 3 fights. And
I counted out. Yeah.
Against Gedalia, me too. I didn't think she'd
win. Claudia's going to beat her ass. No.
Yeah.
So, but it's different. It's just Tatiana's a different animal. There's levels to this game. You just don't know.
No, man, no. And in terms of the grappling, yeah, especially at 115. 115 is so, in terms of for women's MMA, 115 is
It's so deep.
stacked.
It's so
It's
deep.
stacked.
Yes. 115 is. I mean, you've got some legit, and I really hate that Rose Namajunas lost the belt because that's the best I've seen Rose look in a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like
Ever.
Rose, that was the best Rose we've ever fucking seen.
She was winning every second of that fight. At no point was Jessica Andrade ever ahead until
not once.
And she was winning every single second.
Yeah,
dude,
she was, dude.
Her striking, her movement, her in and out, everything was on point, and then she didn't let go of that Kimura.
Yeah, I know. She should have let go of that thing. But she'd have let go of that thing, she'd still be champ. But, when it comes to Tatiana Suarez, man, it's just Tatiana Suarez. Tatiana Suarez, man, you don't see that come by very often, especially in the women's.
No, you don't.
Like, you don't see that very often. You have your strikers, but you don't see someone as dominant maybe like Mackenzie Dern, a few more fights into her career. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that'd be such a great fight.
Dude, Tatiana Suarez versus
like if Dern came along a little more and won a few more fights and was like 9-0, 10-0, man, that's a hell of a matchup.
Jiu-jitsu,
that's a hell of a matchup.
But Mackenzie Dern's got the striking. Mackenzie Dern's got the striking, bro. And
you think
if Mackenzie Dern throws a bomb and clips Tatiana with a bomb, dude, that's that. Like she clipped Amanda Bobby Cooper. That's lights out for any strawweight, dude. Any strawweight gonna get knocked out.
If she clipped her as clean as she did clip ABC, yeah, which really surprised me, man. I mean, ABC is not the greatest mixed martial arts fighter in the world. I'll attest to that sentiment. She's a boxer. Boxing is her base. She should, I mean, not in a million years. And that's the first thing she said after the fight was just like, I just got knocked out by Mackenzie Dern. That's not supposed to happen.
She got knocked out by Mackenzie Dern. But real quick before we get back to UFC Rochester, somebody unemployed Mario Yamasaki says, did you see the video of Andrade tapping? What did you guys think about that? That was wild. To see her, I mean, it looked like she tapped, dude. It looked like
tapped to what? Because the Kimura her arm was like this. How was she tapping?
Right.
You can tell like there was.
That's my problem with it.
What did she tap to?
That's my problem with it. Is what is she tapping to? I saw a tapping motion.
There's definitely a tap. There's definitely like she taps her own arm, but like, what is she tapping to?
Yeah, because she wasn't.
I noticed it mid-fight too. Yeah,
she wasn't in danger. Like her arm wasn't in any kind of danger, and she was tapping. So I'm like, well, what was happening? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was she? Was she scared she was about to fuck her arm up if she threw?
Yeah. Like no doubt, she tapped her own arm. It's just like, why? What are you doing?
Taylor said, "What are you doing?"
I think that title. I think that I couldn't agree more. When you go back and look at it, there's a definite tapping motion. I think that's unquestionable. But it's just like, what could she possibly be submitting to where she does not want to fight for this belt anymore? What is she possibly submitting to?
Yeah.
Right.
No,
yeah, that's exactly how I looked at it.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy how people notice shit like that. I didn't notice it. I was too busy.
No, yeah.
And that Rose get fucked up.
Hey man, Gastelum tapped too. Gastelum for sure tapped. At 236 against Israel, yes. In the fifth round when when they were scrambling and going to the ground while Israel had that guillotine in.
The triangle.
It was when he had him in the guillotine and they were scrambling to the ground, and right before Kelvin's neck got loose, I saw him tap, man. When you go back, when you go back and look at it, and if you agree with me, let me know. Be like, dude,
you want to tap to Rose too, then try to deny it.
Yeah, she did.
You want to tap.
I didn't tap. Like, no, that's just how hard you got hit. I saw that shit. You full arm extended tap.
but that lets you know that Rose can hit, dude. Because with the jab that she was punching, that she was sticking in Jessica Andrade's face.
That was the female version of Pettis versus Wonder Boy.
Dude, it bloodied her up, dude.
Yeah, just out of nowhere, they're like, let me try this. And it fucking worked.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see the strawweight. What's gonna happen next in the strawweight division? You got Suarez, Nina Ansaroff. You got
Wiley
that coming
Zhang
up.
is
It's
coming,
just
bro.
What, dude? You think Joanna gonna fight Weili Zhang?
I don't think that's a smart fight to make for the UFC. I think clearly and obviously the most profitable out of whatever sense you can get fight to make right now at strawweight of those who aren't booked is Joanna versus Watterson. I think that's a no-brainer. They haven't fought yet.
Joanna squashes
let the winner of that fight the winner of Tatiana and Jessica.
No, Tatiana said that's the title shot fight. Whoever wins that getting the title shot.
That's saying, yeah. And then Michelle and Watterson fight the winner of that fight.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay,
Joanna
I can see that.
doesn't really deserve it. Even if she beats Michelle, I mean, you're what 2-2 in your last 4. But it'll be like Frankie. It'll be the name and that you put your time in the company that are going to get her that next shot if she gets Watterson.
Look, come on.
Yeah.
Holly Holm is getting a title shot.
Yeah, but Holly Holm.
Yeah, they don't have anybody else to give that title shot to.
And that wasn't like Holly Holm, like, give me a title shot. That was Amanda Nunes, being like, that's the only bitch I haven't knocked out yet. Let me get that one. Like,
people have been waiting for that fight to be made for a while.
Outside of that, she beat Cyborg, Ronda, fucking Tate, and then she's gonna get home. That's it. She's the women's GOAT. She's killed everybody.
Raquel Pennington.
Like after that, unless you can get Gina Carano to come out of retirement, you killed everyone.
Yeah.
The only girl that I think still belongs in the conversation, man.
Go ahead and say it. Yep.
Ketlin Vieira, bro.
Oh no, man! You came
Vieira.
up with some bullshit. You said some bullshit, man.
Her and Aspen Ladd.
No, you got Kat Zingano, bro. You got Amanda Nunes got Kat Zingano problems, bro.
First round TKO loss. The fuck you talking about?
I was like,
dude,
that was in 2014. That was a while ago, though.
She dominated Marion Renault. She had the fluke loss to Megan Anderson, but Kat Zingano has never looked better. Kat Zingano was about to whoop Megan Anderson's ass, but Kat Zingano has never looked better than what she's looked now, especially in the fight with Marion Renault. But the person who everybody is forgetting about is Juliana Pena in the bantamweight division. That is the thing. She needs to get her fucking ass back in fighting shape. The baby is almost like 2 years old now, like a year old or whatever. Juliana Pena.
Sarah McMahon is getting back in
Sarah McMahon went out after Juliana Pena and is coming back with
she's back.
I mean, what the fuck? Like, Juliana Pena is the only person I think besides Kat Zingano, because Kat Zingano got Amanda Nunes' number, bro. That she'll never beat Kat Zingano. But I feel like she won't beat Kat, dude. But I feel like the only person that can pose any kind of a threat to Amanda Nunes is Juliana Pena. That's it. That is the only person.
Dude, Ketlin Vieira made an example out of your girl Kat Zingano. How that fight was a split decision. How that fight was a split decision again makes no sense.
Well, Kat won the first round. Kat won the first round and the first part of the second round, and then Ketlin Vieira dominated the last half of the second round and all of the third round. So that's how that's how I think that was a split decision.
I think Ketlin and Amanda fight, but I think they fight at 45.
Maybe. I mean, Zingano's got to get a win at 145 first, and I think
Ketlin Vieira. I think that just to boost 45, they're like, hey, we'll give you a title shot, but if you guys want, don't cut the extra 10 pounds, and let's just make this a featherweight for the title anyways.
I think that makes sense, especially because Ketlin Vieira has been knocking at that door for a title shot. I mean, even Amanda Nunes before the Raquel Pennington fight was saying that she's the number one contender.
Next.
They just ignored it.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna fight,
but Ketlin Vieira
fight Cyborg on a John Jones card or headline against fucking Ketlin, you're gonna take the Cyborg fight.
Well, I was saying that was before the Pennington fight.
Yeah,
so she was like
several months ago. Ketlin's next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She tore her ACL in the camp for the Evanger fight, though. So who knows how long it'll be until she's back.
Yeah, I know. That was a while ago, though. She should be ready, dude. I mean, to be honest, she should be ready. But yeah, man. But Aspen Ladd has some of the best ground and pound. Get back to Rochester, guy. We're going off on a tangent. Man, Davidson, this was the wrong episode to have you on, man. We going off on tangents and we got to stick to the fight card, man. It's fucking crazy.
That's the whole point, brother. That's the whole point.
I know, man. Anyway, I think Aspen Ladd has some of the best ground and pound, and I see if Sajara Eubanks doesn't use her size and her range to keep Aspen Ladd at bay, use the jab, pump the jab in her face, keep her on the outside, use a good teep kick, it's not gonna happen. Aspen Ladd gonna grab her, she's gonna sling her to the ground, and she's gonna beat the shit out of her. That's how Aspen Ladd does. But Sajara Eubanks has really good jiu-jitsu. So that's something we have to remember. Sajara Eubanks she's a BJJ person. She has good striking, but she's a BJJ person. So we have to see, how that plays out with Aspen. But I definitely see Aspen Ladd winning this fight. Most definitely.
I think Sajara Eubanks definitely has paths of little resistance to win the fight. I just don't think it's very likely. I'm with you. I like Aspen Ladd. However, when you look at the particulars and you look at Aspen Ladd's record, you see 7-0, you're like, okay, check. You see 6 finishes, you're like, okay, check. You see 2-0 in the UFC, first round finish, Tanya Evander, okay, check. The only box that isn't checked and the only girl she has not finished was when they fought in Invicta. People forget this is a rematch.
This is
Aspen
a rematch.
Ladd,
yep.
That's the only girl Aspen has not finished, too.
Yep, that's true. They have done it. They have danced before, so that's gonna be pretty good to see. I don't know, man. That's an interesting fight, but I'm pretty sure Aspen Ladd gets this one done, dude. Welcome to the bantamweight division, Sajara, but Aspen Ladd is a hell of a person to debut against.
No, there's one other prelim. I promise you have to keep your eye on, man. Did you see the weigh-in face-offs?
Let me guess. Are you talking about Mike Trezano and Grant Dawson?
No, the one that was the most heated. That's a great fight too, though.
Yeah, Trezano's a savage.
Yeah,
he is. So's Dawson. They're both there. That fight's damn near even on the betting lines. That's a 50-50 fight.
Yep, it is.
The fight that I have circled and the one that was by far the most heated face-off at the weigh-in today, Sean Shelby had trouble keeping these guys apart. Danny Roberts and the debuting Michelle Pereira.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever watched Michelle Pereira fight?
No.
Oh, get ready. It's a show. Get your popcorn ready.
Fuck yeah.
It's a show. I've never seen anything like this guy. Like, this guy does, like, flips and backflips and, like, Showtime, off the cage, Superman punches, and he dances and he taunts. It's unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. It's crazy.
Let me see if I can let me see real quick, Davidson, if I can pull that up so we can see what you're talking about, homie.
Yeah, bro. Like, you watch this guy fight and you're like, oh, okay, I see what people are saying. Yeah, I've never seen anything like this guy.
The face-off.
Yeah, the face-off was intense. They were in each other's face right away. That's a tough debut. That's a tough debut fight, though, man. Danny Roberts is not an easy debut.
The UFC is not giving. Then back a few years ago, the UFC used to give like somebody who making their debut used to give them a can. They don't give them cans anymore.
Nope. I'm doing a big case study for Fansided on UFC fighters making their debut this year. Surprisingly, the welterweight division is one of only 2 divisions that has a winning record. UFC fighters making their debut this year have been awful. Awful.
He said awful.
They're 0-8 at 155.
Are they really?
Damn.
0-8. And I think after Saturday, they'll be 0-10.
Ooh.
Because Austin Hubbard got arguably the most difficult matchup in your debut you could possibly have, Davi Ramos. Yeah. And then Grant has Luque.
Yeah, when I reached out to him and asked him, I said, hey, man, I want to do a segment with you on my podcast. I said, but I told him, I said, I want you to wait till after the fight. I want you to focus, like, go ahead. He was like, you want to do it now? I was like, no. like you focus on fight week right now, and we'll get to it afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, that's a tough test. But Austin Hubbard's a good guy, though. He's pretty decent. He's a pretty decent fighter. He's
got great wrestling.
See the record on the on people taking on short notice. There's a lot of debuting guys taking on short notice because they know they're going to get a second opportunity no matter what.
Right.
Lucky, like Alexander Hernandez when he took the fight against fucking
Benil Dariush.
Yeah, and just like he wins that fight on the short notice, and he's ranked number 10 in the world right off the bat.
Yeah.
In the most stacked division ever.
Yeah.
In the most stacked division the sport's ever seen. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, he got right in.
And then gets taken to school by Donald Cerrone.
Dude, Donald Cerrone beat the shit out of Alex Hernandez. He beat the shit out of him.
My man, tap me later after this is over, and I can get you that record on guys on short notice this year. I have a huge case study that I'm doing for Fansided. I got all kinds of stats about UFC guys making their debut this year. Yeah, lightweights are 0-8. That's crazy.
That's insane. 0-8.
Featherweights are 5-2. Yes, sir.
Good for them.
Featherweights and welterweights are the only ones with a winning record.
Word. Well, shit. Let's move on. Let's move on to Charles Oliveira versus Nick Lentz.
You talking about the best jiu-jitsu player in UFC? Actually, UFC history. The most prolific finisher in UFC history. The submission record. Not that bitch in '85, Damian Maia.
Let's ask Davidson this question. Davidson, I made the statement once saying, I think that the best Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner in the UFC is Damian Maia, and Taylor completely trashed. He completely trashed it. 100%.
That's a record.
Well, I mean, just because Charles Oliveira holds the record for most submissions, I mean, think about it. If either of you guys watch baseball at all, this is a perfect analogy. Would you rather have had, just because Hank Aaron hit more home runs than Babe Ruth, would you rather have Babe Ruth in his prime on your team today, or Hank Aaron on your team in his prime?
Answer either one of them, because the rules are in the day though. Give me Babe Ruth.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. If you're asking me one guy, one pick, I need a submission. I would have said Damian Maia before coming into this year, but now give me Cron Gracie.
Yeah, no, Gracie's out. Wait. We already agreed. We don't know about Cron. Cron's out.
Dude, Damian Maia's last fight, he submitted. Who was it that he fought?
Oh, cool. The last 4 of Charles Oliveira's fights, he submitted them.
Lyman Good.
He fought Lyman Good.
I thought Lyman Good's going to put up more of a fight than that.
He beat Lyman Good with a standing rear naked choke without even throwing a punch.
Yep.
He can't throw punches. All he does is wrestle.
That's how he does it.
He submitted Lyman Good without even throwing a punch with a standing rear naked choke. That's jiu-jitsu for your ass, dog. That's jiu-jitsu for your ass. The only other person I see in the UFC that's submitting motherfuckers without even landing a punch is Jillian Robertson at flyweight. That's the only other person that I see doing that besides Damian Maia. And that to me, go ahead.
Davi Ramos could do it too. Because the guy that's on this card this weekend, I think he belongs in that conversation.
You think so?
He has
done that, hasn't he? He has done that.
He's a world champ, black belt.
I didn't even think about that.
Crazy. Charles Oliveira isn't. He's been in 2 jiu-jitsu tournaments in his entire life and didn't place in either one of them.
I did not know that.
Yeah, dude, because I was shocked. Because when we were talking about this originally, I looked it up, and 2 jiu-jitsu tournaments, didn't place in either one of them. He wasn't like IBJJF or anything like that. It was like just some small local Brazilian tournament. He's so good, just never done it purely as a sport itself. He's only done it in MMA, which is crazy.
Yeah,
and has the record. But no, see, it's Damian Maia. Yeah, when you're winning fights with outlanding punches, Charles Oliveira just happens to have a submission game.
Yeah, but and he's not afraid to strike either, man. I mean, that's that elbow
reason for not being good at it.
That elbow he landed on Tamor was nasty.
Ooh, I remember that. That.
Dude, yeah, so does he from Paul Felder. That's why he did it.
All right, guys. So we got Vicente Luque versus Derek Krantz.
Oh, Luque all day. I thought Luque was gonna beat fucking who pulled out of this fight?
Neil Magny.
No, I just couldn't shoot. Yeah, no, I had Vicente over anybody. That kid's on fire right now.
Yeah, Luque was the biggest favorite on the main card before Magny fell out, and now he's the biggest favorite on the entire card.
Fuck, dude, that was his chance to get ranked. Now he doesn't get it.
He's at 15 right now. But dude. I mean, depending on the UFC rankings, I mean, who knows? You could come in a new week, and that could be Anthony Rocco Martin's spot just by someone coughing.
Yeah,
right.
This is a dangerous fight for anybody to take as a natural 155er on short notice. We saw that with Jalen Turner last October.
Ooh.
We saw how that played out.
Man, the guy who just beat Jalen Turner, that is a tough motherfucker. I forgot his name.
Frivola,
yes, Matt Frivola. That is a tough son of a bitch. I like him. I really do like Frivola.
His fight.
Look who's in the building.
What's up, boys?
Oh boy, Brad
to the building.
What's up, my brothers?
My no filter MMA co-host Brad has made his return. This long-awaited return.
Back, boys. I'm back. Little one had to take a little hiatus for a little bit, but things are settling down, and we're looking good. We're looking good.
Yes. My bad, guys. What's up, man? It's good to have you back, brother. It's good to have you back, man. We just talking.
Good to see y'all, boys.
We talking Vicente Luque and Neil Magny pulled out of that fight, man. Got busted with PEDs, man. That's a bummer, man. It sucks more for Vicente Luque because, like you said, one of you two said it. This was his chance to get into the top 10, but it's not happening.
Yeah. Yep. That's unfortunate. And the kid that he's facing is dangerous too.
Brad, what you think about Neil Magny getting popped?
Well, I haven't seen any of the latest articles on that situation, but apparently he didn't know if he took a tainted supplement or if he consumed something that made him test positive. But he's saying he didn't knowingly take anything. But I feel like that's everybody's
no one's ever
excuse
taken
when they get caught
intentionally in their life.
Right.
What you say?
Yep.
No one's ever taken. Yeah. I didn't even know.
But what is up with the Davidson? Tell me what you think about the correlation between Ostarine and tainted substances, man. It seems to be a correlation with that. A lot of people, throw the word tainted substance around, but it seems like everybody that gets popped with Ostarine is a tainted substance.
Yeah,
yep.
And that was from that whatever particular batch somehow all got in the hands of, like we said earlier, got in the hands of O'Malley, it got in the hands of Montano, it got in the hands of Marvin Vittori. And somebody else, but I don't know if Ostarine is what Magny popped for. I don't think we know what Magny popped for yet. If I'm correct, I don't believe we know yet.
No,
maybe we do. I'm not sure.
Officially announced it. It was only Neil Magny who made his own statement.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Nothing official has come out yet.
I bet you it's Ostarine. I bet you it's Ostarine. It's either Ostarine or the shit TJ Dillashaw was on.
EPO.
EPO?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, it would make sense if Neil Magny was on EPO. And he's like, no, I just trained in Denver.
Right? I know, right? Just taking that special sauce out there in Denver, huh?
Yeah, they serving it up out there. They serving it up out in Colorado, boy. I'm telling you. All right, guys.
Michael Chandler got knocked out, too.
Yeah, Michael Chandler, too, dude. Yeah, Michael Chandler fucking got finished.
Mm-hmm.
He got finished. MVP got the MVP.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you guys, did you see this? Did you guys see when somebody edited the knockout of MVP with the Thor hammer? That was fucking amazing.
Yes, bro.
I love Douglas Lima.
Dude, Douglas Lima is the man, dude. He
was my pick to win that tournament.
And what was crazy though was he said he was rocked. He said he was rocked when he did it.
Well, he was. He caught that right. He caught that weird because, dude, MVP can land strikes from literally any angle and any stance that he can. That's what makes MVP dangerous. But he came over after whipping on this left hand and clipped him with what looked like kind of like a halfway Superman jab. I don't know. He was midway in the air and clipped him over the top of the head. And Lima was stumbled. I thought MVP should have swarmed him right there, but he took his time and picked his shots.
And he's showboat, dude. That showboat will get you fucked up. He should have learned from Anderson Silva.
Yep.
God,
Yeah, no, Michael Page is super dynamic, but when he rocked Lima, I always felt like Lima's such a veteran, you know, like, yeah, he was hurt, but he wasn't out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would have, if Venom Page would have swarmed him, he might have ran into something. I mean, look how Lima caught him just with a leg kick off balance and that beautiful uppercut to end his life, so to speak. And then the hammer fist was just extra after that.
Dude,
the hammer fist seemed a little unnecessary, but I'm glad he did because I fucking hate MVP.
Hell yeah, I loved every single one. I loved every single one of those hammer fists.
I was like, no, he's good, but he ain't that good. Give him a real top. See what the fuck happens. His ass went to.
Yep.
I think for MVP going forward, I think you either got to give him, because now it's just like there's no more crushing cans, there's no more fighting guys that
you're in this
wall
now.
plasterers. Yeah, like there's no more fighting local plumbers from Poland. Like that's over. Like now, I mean it's the top guys. So I mean at this point, I would say Koreshkov's a fun fight. I would say
that is a good fight.
Koreshkov, yeah.
I think both those fights make a lot of sense.
That's a good fucking fight. Yeah, he
gets too much for him too.
Yeah, you guys made a good point, man. You're right. There's no more fighting these cans, dude. You claim to be the best, you fight the best. And we seen what happened when you fought one of the top guys in the division, you got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is. We'll see. But next up, I want to talk about this fight right here, baby. Megan Anderson.
Oh, I know your girl. Yeah, that's your baby right there.
Woo! We got former Invicta champion versus former Invicta champion.
Yeah.
We got striker knockout artist versus scrappy grappler. What you guys got for me?
Megan looked amazing in the weigh-ins today. Oh my god. She's well put together, man. She is she's a fucking tank, dude.
She is.
And then the other girl, she looked a little pudgy there, you know? Like when they squared up in the weigh-ins, man, I think Megan's just gonna more than likely just end her life. That girl's good. I know she was the Invicta champ, but man, Megan's just a whole different level, dude. Nobody wants to fight that girl. She's just making fights now.
Dude, Taylor, shut the fuck up, dude. She did not.
What did he say?
Talking about she finished Kat Zingano within one round, bro. That was
like a record. That's a TKO win.
Hey. Man, Kat's got to get a rematch for that one, man. But she caught her with her toe. So
Kat Zingano was eating her legs up, bro. She was. She was eating them legs up, bro. It was fucking crazy. But anyway, dude, Felicia Spencer, dude, they call her the soccer mom. She's a middle school teacher, bro.
She looks so pudgy, dude.
But dude, Felicia Spencer. One thing about Felicia Spencer can fight. Dude, she went in there and finished Pam Sorensen to get the inventor.
That's our girl, BJ. Pam Bam.
Pam Bam Sorensen is the real deal, and she finished Pam Sorensen.
Yeah, she's legit.
So, I mean, if Megan can keep this fight standing, Megan wins this fight. If Felicia Spencer wraps Megan Anderson up and takes her down, she beats Megan Anderson. She's got excellent ground and pound, and she's got excellent submissions. So, I mean, Megan Anderson got dominated on the ground by Holly Holm, bro.
Dude, that was crazy. Like, when Holly Holm grapples you, like you need to fix something.
You need to fix something. Dude.
You just got out grappled by a boxer. Yeah, you gotta reevaluate some things there.
Davidson, do you give Holly Holm her black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from the Anderson?
No, man, it's not. It's definitely not the reincarnation of the Woodley Till moment in which Dean Thomas comes running out of nowhere and puts it around the back of her neck. And he's like, "Oh wow!
Oh my god, you got a submission."
Here's my issue with Felicia Spencer, and I'll go on the record and say this first. In dissecting tape on Felicia Spencer, I think it's acutely obvious and very easy to come to the conclusion that if they're going to build the featherweight division like Dana continuously and relentlessly says they're going to do, she's at the top of the list in terms of girls we need to add. I don't think there's any question. However, before the Pam Sorensen fight, man, I mean, three of her 5 fights were against girls that were either 1-0 or 0-0. So that's a big red flag to me. Just because, like, if you're going to take a step up against a girl that, however well she did against Holly Holm, she fought her. She fought Charmaine Tweet. She fought, all these girls when she was in Invicta. Megan Anderson kind of has the better track record. That's what gives me the red flag.
Well, see, the thing about Felicia Spencer, man, I feel like the UFC is building this division. I mean, they've signed girls. They signed Katarina Liner. They signed B. Malecki. They signed Zara Dos Santos. They're signing featherweights. So, but I feel like, in order because this is essentially a number one, you know what I'm saying? Like the winner of this fight potentially fights Amanda Nunes or fight Cyborg for that matter. So I feel like out of the girls that they've signed, besides maybe like Leah Letson, who's fighting at bantamweight, she dropped down to bantamweight just to stay active. Macy Chasson dropped down just to stay active as well. But when you have girls like that in this division, you got to have, you got to pick the best of the best. And unfortunately, unlike bantamweight, there's not a huge pool of high level featherweight talent. There's a good select few featherweight talent, but there's not a huge like when they created the bantamweight division in the UFC, and when they created the strawweight division and the flyweight division, there was a plethora of girls that was able to come in. You had all kinds of girls from everywhere coming in. It's not quite that easy with featherweights. What you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head, BJ.
Yeah, there's just not many girls that are that big. I mean, and as long as we continue on with this old, outdated, traditionalist view that we need to cut 30 pounds and almost kill ourselves before we fight, I think that sentiment's going to continue.
Yeah, you're right about that, dude. The weight cuts are crazy, especially in Cyborg's case, man. But but like I was saying, this fight has big implications. You know what I'm saying? Megan Anderson wins this fight. That's 2 in a row. You know what I'm saying? She may end up fighting. I think Megan has the confidence now to actually fight Cyborg or to actually go and fight somebody like Amanda Nunes, because she didn't have that. Kind of like Nico Montano. You know what I'm saying? Like Nico really didn't have the confidence to fight Valentina. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Megan Anderson, let's not forget, Megan Anderson pulled out of the fight with Chris Cyborg. So
yeah, that's true.
It is what it is.
She needs to fight Cyborg for sure before she thinks about any type of title contention. Really, Cyborg should have the rematch with Nunes for that title because she's been the champion for so long. I feel like Cyborg is still owed that rematch. She really shouldn't have to fight anybody else. But if she does, I get it. Just wipe that girl off so she doesn't have to make a title defense for somebody like a Megan Anderson, or even, if Kat decides to come up and stay at featherweight too.
I think Kat gets the winner of this fight. I think if Megan wins, they're going to book, because I read that they were going to try to book this rematch for this card, but Kat's not ready. So you give it a little time. You give it a little time, let it bubble.
According to Kat, Kat said that was the best training that she ever had because she didn't have to focus on the weight cut. Kat said she was about 155, sometimes as heavy as 160. You know what I'm saying? So for Kat to only have to cut to 145, 146 for a non-title fight, that was good for Kat. So I think Kat should take a little bit of time and get herself back right and get back in there. But we're gonna move on. We're going to move on to the co-main event, guys. We have Antonio Carlos Jr. versus Ian. I don't know how to say his last name. Somebody got to say his last name.
Heinisch.
I always
Another
fuck up
kid
his
that's
last
coming
name.
out of nowhere.
Heinisch. They're super high on him, man.
They are.
Another one of those young guys that are coming out of nowhere. Shoeface is a veteran of the game, so they're trying to get I feel like they're trying to axe some of these veterans off the roster, and I feel like Santos is one of those. But he's good though. Shoeface is good.
I saw a tweet or a post that made me laugh really hard whenever you talk about Shoeface taking dudes' backs. And if you know anything about Ian Heinish's story, he spent some time at Rikers Island. So I saw someone say that he's really good at defending his backside. I cried laughing at that. I cried laughing at that. I thought that was hilarious. And Ian Heinisch even quoted it himself and was like, "This is good. This is good."
Damn.
That is great. That is great, dude. Hell no. He's good at defending his back from dropping the soap.
His story is phenomenal. His story is so incredible.
Jesus
That man was
Christ.
selling drugs. That man was selling drugs on the street in Spain, and then now here he is.
Yeah, man.
Getting in a fist fight.
I think she's basically gonna tap him out.
Well, Austin
Me too.
Hubbard come from. I think Austin Hubbard worked at Walmart. I might be wrong.
Really, I didn't know that.
Or he worked somewhere weird and wasn't like a normal everyday guy, and then now he's fighting in the UFC. So stories can change for people, man. When these fighters, man, you never know what can happen next.
Yeah.
Who do you guys think takes this fight? I think I'm gonna have to go with Antonio Carlos Jr. just for the, well, I would say experience, but they got about the same amount of fights. Actually,
But you can't make up for UFC experience.
Yeah, he's got more
Carlos Santos
UFC.
has.
right, he has more
Yeah.
UFC experience.
Right. Yep. He's been in much bigger fights for sure. The experience should make Santos win this fight, but man, don't be surprised. That kid has nothing to lose. The Heinisch kid, he has nothing to lose, man. That kid's going in there gun blazing.
I think Heinisch is the most attractive underdog bet if you're a betting man. I think
Right.
Heinisch has a lot of value at plus 150.
Yep. You're right.
What concerns me though is when you go back and look at the Cesar Ferreira tape, man. I mean, for how tired Cesar Ferreira was for most of that fight, he was getting Heinisch down to the ground with somewhat ease. Now Heinisch was reversing position phenomenally, but if Shoeface takes you down and takes your back, I mean, it's only a matter of time.
Oh yeah, it's a wrap, son.
Kind of like Damian Maia, Taylor. Kind of like Damian Maia. If Damian Maia takes your back, it's only a matter of time, buddy. You better recognize.
Charles Oliveira is better than Damian Maia. Shut your mouth.
Yeah, you better recognize. Damian Maia is the jiu-jitsu goat.
If that's
Yeah.
number two, then yeah, absolutely he is. But there's not a man who has more submissions in that cage than Charles Oliveira.
Oliveira. That dude can't ever win a big fight though, man. I feel like he puts together 4 or 5 fights in a row.
I would never give him a top 3 guy. Top 10,
Right.
top 10, and then below.
Yeah. It's crazy. He's fighting Nick Lentz again for the 3rd time. Like, what the hell is that? Like,
Why are
Yeah.
you doing that? You don't have to do this.
Nick Lentz.
No, I think it's because nobody ahead of him wants that fight. I think
one
that's
wants
what
that
that
fight.
is.
Nobody wants Charles Oliveira, you saying?
Yeah.
I think I can see the situation play out perfectly. I think Sean Shelby calls a ranked lightweight and they go, okay, you're going to give me options. And they're like, you said Charles Oliveira. Yeah, let's put him over here.
Yeah.
And okay, who are the other options? Who are they? Yeah, I'll take that guy. Get me away from him. I think that's what.
Hey,
I
Davidson.
can see that.
Hey, Davidson.
that, sure.
That was the exact conversation that Michelle Watterson had with Mick Maynard when he called and offered her Tatiana Suarez.
Oh, really?
Oh, no.
Dude, he told us.
that fight?
He told us she
No.
had it. She had the opportunity to fight her and said fucking no. Because she knows no one wants that fight.
Dude,
No one wants that fight.
Yeah.
And dude, we asked Tatiana Suarez. We said, Tatiana, why is there always such a huge layoff between your fights? And she said,
Nobody wants to fight her, huh?
think his feed went dead. Yeah, that's easily what. Yeah, she's had trouble booking fights. She's had a lot of trouble getting fights booked. And I mean, we echoed it earlier, man. I mean, her wrestling is just so high level.
yeah, dude.
She's a monster, dude.
If you guys go look at the comments on the interview with Tatiana, we got dragged, dude. We got dragged for calling that out. And I'm like, dude, the Michelle Watterson Sims came out of nowhere on the Tatiana Suarez video post, bro. It was wild. It was wild as hell. We're like, dude, you heard it straight from Tatiana Suarez's mouth, bro. Michelle Waterson was offered the fight. She turned it down. That's ducking a fade. She ducked the Tatiana Suarez fade for the record. For the record.
That's
You
ducking.
can't. You can't go skip over the most dominant woman in the division and think you're gonna get a title shot because you beat 2 people. Shut the fuck up and chill.
You're ranked over 7. Like, why is that even in the conversation? You're ranked 7. Woman, you're ranked 7. Sit down.
Why?
I get you're a mom and you're fucking hot. That's fantastic. But to ass and being everyone's ass and finishing everyone and you're winning decisions. Wait your turn. You should have tried harder. You want a title shot? Finish someone.
I thought it was crazy how she didn't finish Kovalevich, though. She had that one armbar in tight, man.
Yes, she did.
Kovalevich is a beast. She's a beast too, man.
Dude, she's
always one that falls short on that doorstep of a title fight too. Oh, she got one against Joanna, but
no,
she almost finished Joanna in the 4th.
Yeah,
too.
she did. Yeah, she did.
Yeah, I think that's what brokers that she was that close and she couldn't.
Yep.
She couldn't capitalize.
Then getting knocked out in one punch like that probably didn't help either. That's not going to be like
no
for you. Like looking back.
I know. Crazy. All right, guys, we're gonna cover this main event, and then we're gonna get out of here, man. Rafael dos Anjos, the former champion, versus the future champion, the Motown phenom Kevin Lee. He's really
Kevin
future champion.
Kevin Lee,
weight class.
Dude, Kevin Lee is the one.
He's so fucking bad.
Dude, Kevin Lee is the 165-pound champion. They just won't make the division, bro.
He better hope Ally Quinto doesn't drop down there or go up there. Ally Quinto beat the stew out of him again.
Or Usman or Covington.
He's the fuck out of Edson Barbosa. Like, fuck yeah. Dude, he's going to kill Al. And Al beats the shit out of him. Like, bro, what the fuck, man?
or he better hope Cowboy doesn't come down there too. Or up there, or wherever the fuck Cowboy's doing. Cowboy's doing whatever the hell he wants.
Dude, Cowboy about to get paid. Cowboy trying to get paid. That's what Cowboy trying to do.
He's gonna get killed. Cody Ferguson's gonna murk him.
Yeah, that's a tough fight, man. That's a tough fight. But Kevin Lee, man, I'm gonna have to go with Kevin Lee, dude. I think Kevin Lee
over Dos Anjos, huh?
I was initially
got his ass kicked by Kobe Covington and Kamaru Usman. The blueprint's right fucking there.
Yeah, that's
and somehow still ranked in the top 5. What the fuck?
Initially, I was going for Dos Anjos.
I don't know what it is, man.
Anymore, bro. Kevin Lee at 170. We see how good Anthony Pettis looked at 170. You know what I'm saying? And Kevin Lee
like trash until he landed that fucking punch.
Say what?
He looked like he was getting his ass beat. He looked like trash. He's too fucking small. And then he landed that punch. Then he looked just as bad as Jessica Andrade did.
No, bro. No. Anthony Pettis was getting that.
Watch that shit. He was getting
Why are you trashing Dos Anjos like that?
I picked Pettis, but he was getting his ass beat until he landed that fucking
punch. Dude, he was big at 170.
He was getting his ass whooped by Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy was tapping that ass.
Oh, no.
Wonder Boy was tapping that ass.
Was laying leg kicks, good for you, but fucking Wonder Boy was gabbing his face off.
What you think, Davidson? What you think? How you think he looked in that fight, man? I thought he looked pretty good.
I think he looked okay. We talking about Wonder Boy?
No, I'm talking about Anthony Pettis.
Anthony Pettis.
Oh,
no, yeah, that's what I meant to say. I think he looked okay. I think I would kind of probably side with the sentiment that he was probably losing every second of that fight. I don't think he was getting dominated.
He was getting jabbed.
His face said otherwise. His face said otherwise.
Wonder Boy was in control for sure. And I mean, when it comes to 170, man, and this is exactly why Kevin Lee's entrance into the division is so interesting. If you're going to even think about being amongst the upper echelon of contenders at 170, your wrestling's got to be on point. 170 is very wrestler heavy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, or at least like if you're not going to learn how to wrestle in reverse and just get the fuck back up.
I mean, you got
I'm gonna take
Askren,
Dos
Usman,
Anjos,
and
boys.
Covington all up there.
Wow. Okay. I'm not mad at that.
I'm taking Dos Anjos over Lee. I think he gets it done. I think Lee, man, his confidence gets shaken way too early if he doesn't finish dudes in the first round, man. I don't see him finishing Dos Anjos quickly like that.
Hey, I want to ask all of you a
with
question.
Kevin Lee, man.
Go ahead, David.
I want to ask all of you a question. In the light of the news that Tyron Woodley's out today, do you think that there is a solid chance that the winner of tomorrow night's main event gets asked to turn around quickly, whether it's the RDA Lawler rematch or not? Do you think the winner of tomorrow night's main event gets asked to turn around quickly and fill that main event spot against Lawler? Because they want to put Ponzinibbio on that Uruguay card. I think that's obvious.
Yeah. Yep.
That's fucking
I
crazy.
don't think so.
About that.
Who do you think that? Who do you think?
I think he would.
I think Kevin Lee takes it if he wins. I don't think Dos Anjos does because he already beat him.
I think it depends on how the fight goes. I think if it's a quick finish, if it's a quick finish, then yeah, I think they may ask that person to turn around and fight.
That's why I don't think either one of them will, because I think that if anything, that fight is going to be a war, Kevin Lee and Dos Anjos.
Yeah,
that's why I don't think they get it, not just in terms of winners, but I think both of them are just going to pretty much beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree with that.
Yeah, they're actually both the same fucking size. Looking at the stare down video.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, they are. That's what makes the fight so intriguing.
Not bigger at all.
Lee has got a whole ton of reach on him, though. Lee's got like 8 inches of reach.
Yeah,
he does.
And Kevin Lee, I think his power translates up to 170, man. I think it translates.
Cardio's gonna be better.
Well, yeah, his cardio. You know, his ability to take a punch, even though Rafael Dos Anjos doesn't really have a whole lot of power. But
TJ's guy, get him on some EPO.
Dos Anjos has power, brother. Don't you try Dos Anjos like that. He finished Donald Cerrone. He finished Benson Henderson. You don't finish those guys like that, man. That dude, he beat Nate Diaz. He finished Nate Diaz too.
I mean, yeah, but in comparison,
got power. He's got power, brother.
In comparison to Kevin Lee,
he's got more knockouts than Kevin Lee does.
I don't know anymore because Kevin Lee got his ass beat by Al, and Al's half his size.
Exactly. That's what sticks in my head when I think of Kevin Lee. Is just the ass whooping he took from Ali Quinta.
I love Kevin Lee. I hope he wins this fight, but it's like hard to be like, well, no, he could. Well,
right. Because then all I have to say is Ali Quinta. All you have to say is Ali Quinta.
I watched that like a few months ago. It happened. I was there. Like Ali Quinta beat your ass.
Man.
I think somebody's echoed it earlier, though, man. I mean, the blueprint has been laid to beat RDA at 170, especially if you have the wrestling chops. I'm going with Kevin Lee.
The guys,
I got Kevin Lee.
The guys that you guys. But think about the guys y'all named, Covington and Usman. That's a whole different level of wrestling compared to what Kevin Lee's going to bring. Kevin Lee's wrestling is not as good as those two. And those two, Covington and Usman could fight at 185. They're massive 170, 170 guys.
Yeah.
No,
Kevin Lee is coming up.
I still think Kevin Lee is considerably better in the wrestling department than RDA, though, and
way better.
I do agree. I agree that he's not on Usman. I agree he's not on Usman or Covington's level, though. I think you're right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two are on another level there. But I think RDA's his jiu-jitsu is good enough to kind of stall out Kevin Lee, because again, like we were talking about, Kevin Lee gets discouraged when he doesn't get to when he doesn't dominate somebody like he did like Barboza, and like how he caught who's the other kid before he lost to Iaquinta the first time. Oh man, he talked about it today. I was watching that interview he had.
Chiesa.
Oh man,
Chiesa.
He beat Chiesa.
Oh, Chiesa. There you go, Chiesa. Yep.
Yeah, the one you
like if he doesn't get those takedowns early, or if he doesn't advance position early in fights, man, that dude, his confidence dwindles quickly, and you can't come in with that kind of mentality against somebody like Dos Anjos, bro. Dos Anjos, at the end of the day, that dude is still a killer, man. He still has, phenomenal stand-up, and he's got more than, I would say, above average ground game for sure.
I agree. But RDA is a dangerous BJJ player too. I think that might factor in maybe. Something tells me he's gonna win this fight, but I can't do it. I gotta go Kevin Lee.
I gotcha. Yeah, I'm the only one taking RDA. I'm taking RDA. I think
no. Kevin Lee.
I think he wins this fight and in a war. I think it'll be a war though. Kevin Lee will show his heart. He'll show some heart. He'll enough to stay to go all 5 rounds.
Well, we'll see. We'll see, man. I am looking forward to this entire card from top to bottom. The UFC is loading us up for the summertime. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we got Cowboy. We got Cowboy versus
Tony Ferguson.
Tony Ferguson, which I think Tony Ferguson definitely.
And you didn't even mention Nate Diaz and Pettis too. Whew.
I was getting ready to say, Nate Diaz.
Take my money, UFC.
Really,
John Jones and Thiago Santos.
John Jones, Thiago Santos.
Yeah. DC Stipe. DC and Stipe. That's one. That one's for you, BJ. That one's for you, BJ.
Don't forget.
Want Stipe to win that one.
Dude,
don't forget Holloway versus Frankie Edgar, guys.
Holloway versus Frankie.
Oh yeah.
I'm being sarcastic.
Max should beat. Yeah, he should beat the shit out of fucking Edgar.
Well, I know Stipe is gonna knock DC's dome off. That's what's happening.
I know you want that to happen, BJ.
But that's the conversation for
again quicker.
That's a conversation for a whole another podcast.
Another podcast, right?
That's another podcast.
The Twitter bitch. He called him a Twitter bitch.
Little Twitter bitch. I understand that. Shut the fuck up and fight.
He called him a Twitter bitch. Shut the fuck up and fight. That's great.
Oh my gosh. Then we also got Nico Montano making the former UFC flyweight champion making her return.
Man, I hope Sarah McMahon beats her ass.
Wow.
How she beats the shit out of Montano.
Wow, that's fucked up.
No, bro.
That's my girl.
I think Nico wins this one.
Steroid munching Montano.
Out of pure fanboyishness.
I want to for my girl.
Yeah. She's not a hoe. I can't pick against her. I have to go with Nico Montano. I'm
gonna have to go
Nico Montano.
Yes, my girl.
Oh my God, her name just like rubs me the wrong way. I can't stand any aspect of Nico Montano. Like, just her name rubs me the wrong way. Like, God damn, I hope fucking McMahon beats her ass.
Dude,
she will. She will.
Oh my God, she went from that Valentina ass whooping so quick, bro. I was telling BJ, me and BJ were going back and forth leading up to that fight, and I told him that Nico was not going to make it to that fight because she was scared. So she took steroids so she can have an excuse to run from that fight.
If you're gonna lose your title, might as well just lose it and not get your face beat in for it.
True. So take steroids so she can test positive. Fucking bitches. God damn.
Okay. Y'all do my girl like that. This is all about redemption.
I love you, BJ, but Nico, oh my God. I can't believe you like that girl like that, man.
This thing about Nico. Despite what Nico done running from Valentina, Nico is still a good fighter. Let's not forget that Nico is still
she's a good fighter.
Now she's training at Jackson. Now
she's a good fighter, but that's it. A good fighter.
She's training at Jackson. Former champion, homie. You can't take that away from her.
She moved over to Jackson Wink now?
You can't take that away from her.
Yeah, dude.
That was hers.
Yeah, she's training with Jackson.
Bro, she didn't even want the title, bro. She didn't even want the title. I don't call her no champion, man. I know technically she was the tough champ, but god damn. Oh man, she is not a champion. She's a fighter, but she's not a champion.
Valentina is the paper champ. She never beat the champion. She is the paper champ, bro.
Hey, BJ, you gotta stop that. You gotta stop that, BJ. You know my girl will beat the shit out of Nico. My girl Val will beat the shit out of Nico, bro. It wouldn't even, bro. Oh my God.
Didn't get beat.
Taylor, did she beat the champ?
Okay.
Yes, she did. She did, BJ. She did. She made her take steroids and quit before she even got to the cage. She made her quit before she got to the cage. So yes, she beat the champion. Val is the undisputed champ.
Davidson, who you think?
Yes,
who you think would have won that fight between Nico and Valentina, man?
Valentina.
Oh, thank you.
50-43,
he knows that's easy money.
50-42.
Look, and he's being nice.
I am. I'm not.
He's being nice. Val would have finished her in the first round.
I think Sarah McMahon takes care of her pretty easily as well.
Hey, there you go. Let's go, Sarah.
Well, we go. That's all.
Sarah too.
That's also for another podcast. But anyways, guys, we're going to close this show out. We had a long session, good MMA talk. I appreciate you boys for coming through. For starters, you guys go check out oneupmma.com. That's where your boy Taylor, you'll find some of the best articles out there. Also, check Taylor out on SoundCloud at Winning with Taylor Loader. Then you guys jump right over to YouTube when you're done with this video and go subscribe to The Bottom Line with Davidson Baker. When Davidson Baker says it's the bottom line, it is the bottom line. And also, guys, hit that like button for welcoming my boy Brad. They're one of the original co-hosts of No Filter MMA. Welcoming him back to the podcast, man. It was good to have you back, brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me, like always, bro.
Hey, man. Hey, Davidson.
Good seeing y'all boys too, Austin.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yoder.
He said Austin. Taylor.
I called him Austin. I thought his name was Austin. Whoops.
My bad. Nice to meet you, bro.
Hey, guys. Appreciate you guys coming through. We got to do it again. We got to do it one more time. We got to do it 5 more times. All right?
Yes, sir.
Man. Absolutely. Thanks for having me on too, man.
Absolutely, man. And we are out.
All right, boys.